Hi there, this is Mr. Graves, and today what we're going to be talking about is how to work with images in your drawings. Okay, and we got a little bonus at the end because this will be a little bit shorter video than some of the other ones. Okay, so first off, we're going to go to the waffle. We're going to go to Drive. Okay, we're going to go create a new document by going New, and then More, and then Google Drawings. Okay. Now I'm going to put some labels up here because I think that might be helpful. So let me go ahead and put a text box here. In my text box, I'm going to put this. PG, JPG, or, because we might be working with some of those today. Okay, I'm going to give it a little color just to say I did. All right, now I'm going to do another text box. Okay, now for my text box, I'm going to do a PNG. Okay, and by the way, I'm going to put these in the center because that's just a good thing to do with any text box that you do. Make them line up the way you want them to. Okay, all right, so with this one, let's give it a little bit of a color. All right, so why did I put those there? Because there's 2 to 3 different kinds of pictures that you guys typically will find on the internet. You've got JPEGs, whichever way you spell them. Okay, some of the things are based on how files are named. Okay, you've got JPEGs and you've got GIFs or GIFs. A lot of people like to say GIFs. And you've got PNGs. And JPEGs and GIFs or GIFs are a kind of file that let you put a picture in and it keeps a background. With a PNG file, depending on what kind of file you get, you may not have a background. And that can be kind of cool and useful, especially with the limits to the tools that you have in Google Drawing. So let's go ahead and get a couple pictures. So I have to go to either Insert or Image. Okay, we can go there. Now you have these choices: upload from your computer. So that means that you have the image file stored on your computer. Okay, this one you're going to search the web for it. This one's going to come from your Google Drive. This one would come from your photos, say like if you were doing this on your phone, or if you had a photos folder somewhere in your Chromebook or something like that, or from whatever your computer is. Okay, by URL they're talking about a specific web address that takes you to that picture, or by the camera that would be in your, say, your phone or your laptop or your Chromebook. Okay, we're going to search the web. Okay, so we get our menu over here. And so first thing I'm going to look for, because I like waffles, I'm going to get pictures of waffles. Okay, I can do without the pancakes for now. We'll stick with waffles. All right, so we've got our picture of waffles. All right. Now, what I want you to notice, number one, when I click on it, it puts an arrow so it knows what I want to put in. I can select multiple pictures. I don't want to do that for this. Okay, the other thing I want you to notice is down in the lower right-hand corner, you will see a magnifying glass. That magnifying glass lets you find other information about it and look at it larger. So let's click on that to see what it does. So I get to see the whole picture. Okay. It tells me the exact website and gives me a link to where it comes from. Okay, this one happens to come from Wikipedia, and you can see the .jpg on it, right? So that's good. And this also lets me insert it. Okay, there are other things that you can do with this. We'll deal with those later. Okay, not this video. Okay, so it puts our picture in, and we're going to go ahead and shrink it down by grabbing the corners, because using the corners makes it so the picture kind of keeps its regular proportions, so it looks normal. Okay. And let's go get our PNG picture of waffles. So I'm going to come over here. I'm going to search the web. I'm going to look for waffles, but I'm going to put PNG at the end. What that does, it helps me control the file type. So waffles PNG transparent. Let's do that. Okay, so I'm going to go find a waffle. And let's do, I'm not feeling very artistic right now, so I'm just going to go with photos. Okay. Let me get this waffle, and we'll see if it works. Oh, let's go ahead and do our check here. Blueberry waffle swapples. Okay. I can insert. I can go and check the license and all that stuff. There we go. Now you'll notice that there is no white background to the picture. Okay, so let's shrink this down a bit. And we'll put it right there. All right. Now, that's the big deal about JPEG or GIFs versus PNGs. PNGs can be brought in without a background if you specifically look for ones that don't have them. Okay? When you go to look for them, a lot of times you will see that they have the checkerboard thing in the back. All right, now let's go talk about what we can do with images. Okay? So first things first, with images, could you replace it? Yeah, but I didn't go to all that trouble so I could replace it. So we're good there. Really, you don't have a very big menu of stuff you can do yet. Most of it's going to be in here. Okay? This is for cropping. Cropping is cutting parts of the picture out. So let's take this picture and we're going to cut parts out. So when you click on that, you get a black frame within the blue resize frame. The black frame is to crop. And you have to be kind of careful when you use it. You see that you have the black line. I'm going to bring that black line down toward my waffles. I'm going to bring the other black line up toward my waffles. I'm going to ignore the plate. Okay, same thing over here. Same thing over here. Now, to finish off my cropping, which means, again, I'm cutting pictures out to make the picture smaller and focus in on something, I hit Enter. Now, could I get that other part back? Yeah, I could. Control Z is really useful for that. Okay, but I'm going to go ahead and redo what I was doing. Okay, Enter, and there we go. So, if I double click on this, it gets me back to the point where I could pull this back and have my picture at its original proportions, just so you know. Okay, so there we are. Now, I'm going to go ahead and do a couple things with this. Let's go ahead. Remember our format options. There's new stuff you can do with format options. You can recolor your waffles. Okay, it has the usual stuff. It's got drop shadows, it's got reflection, blah, blah, blah. Recoloring. Oh, yeah, let's have blue waffles. There you go. How do you like that? Okay, can you choose other ones? You could do black and white, you can do sepia, you can do some other stuff, but you kind of have limited choices on this. Okay. Now we're going to leave that one for there. Now we're going to work with our PNG picture here. Now we've cropped this and we recolored it. We're going to do a couple different things with this. We're going to use the arrow next to the crop tool, which gives us more options. We're going to mask the image. So masking the image means that we're going to use a shape. I want to use a hexagon. Okay. Now, can I change my hexagon? Sure. Do I want to? Not so much. Okay. Now, one thing you're going to be careful with is that when you're doing your cropping and stuff, if you pull this in, all you're doing is you're not shrinking the mask, you're shrinking the whole image. Okay, so that's going to depend on how you want your picture to look when you're done. Okay. All right. So let's compare kind of with that over here. Let's say if I wanted to mask this. Let's say I wanted to do it with an octagon. Now you'll notice that it goes inside of what's already been cropped. So if I'm just looking to crop my waffle and not the area around it also, that's kind of some things that we have to work on. Okay, so I'm going to undo that, Control Z. I'm going to come back to my waffle and I'm going to make it a little smaller. So I'm going to crop it first, then I'm going to mask it. Okay, so let's crop it. I'm going to make it so that I have nothing but waffle in my octagon, or my hexagon as the case may be. Okay, see? Now I hit Enter, and I'm going to go ahead and apply my mask. So, octagon, there you go. See, I've got nothing but waffle in there. Now, can I give it a border and all that other stuff? Of course. Let's make it a nice orange. Let's make it 3 pixels. Okay, so I got my cropped in there. I've got my mask in there. Now, let's go do some format options. Okay, so let's do adjustments. We're not going to recolor this. With adjustments, I got 3 different things I can do, and that's kind of it. Okay, so I can change my opacity so I can make my photo transparent. Now when I say transparent, here's what I mean. It makes it so I can see the stuff behind it. Okay. Brightness. I can make my waffle darker. I can make my waffle brighter. This is kind of like overexposing and underexposing a photograph. Okay. In fact, that's really what it is you're doing. Okay. Now the other thing we can do is we can adjust the contrast. Okay. Contrast is easier to see when I have this 100%. So let's take contrast and we're going to increase it. When I increase my contrast, what it does is it makes my brights and my dark spots farther apart from each other. When I take this and I pull it past normal and I reduce the contrast, it makes my darks and my brights closer together, eventually bringing everything to be gray. Okay, because there's no difference, right? So this is more different. This is less different. This is medium. Okay? So that's how your adjustments work. Again, opacity makes it so that whether your object is solid in front of other stuff like this, or if I make it more transparent or less opaque, I can see stuff behind it, right? All right. Now, a couple of things. Those are the big things that you want to worry about. We've got a couple of neat things that you guys can do. These are the bonuses. I'm going to get rid of my formatting options here. We're going to talk about some lines and some borders. So you see how I've got my waffle here? What if I wanted to do some cool stuff? Like say, go to Format and change my borders and lines. I can change my border color, I can change my border weight, I can change my border dash. What if I want to change my border type? What if I want my border type to be triple lines? Now when you say that, you say, those don't look very triple to me. Let's make my lines a lot wider. What do you think there? So I can format my borders and my lines so that I have singles, doubles, triples. I've got a thin line and a thick line, or I've got a thin line and I've got a thick line, or I should say thick and thin, excuse me. Okay, in case you're wondering to see that, that's that. Okay, if you want to see the opposite, okay, we're looking at that, the opposite. Okay, now, so those are border lines. Those also are regular lines. So if I take my line tool here and I do a line, maybe I give it an arrowhead or something like that, and I make my line really thick, okay, and I give it line type. Maybe I want to make it a double. There you go. Okay. Now, let's do something else. I want to go ahead and I want to change, I can change the arrowhead size. I can make it large. Okay. But let's do something else. Let's go ahead and we're going to change the line decorations. So, I can make it so that my line is a little bit rounder, or let's make this a shape and we'll make it really obvious. Okay, let's make it so that I have, again, let's make it a pentagon. Okay, thick line. Let's make it a different color though. Thick line, let's make it 16. And we're going to make it so that we format the line to have, let's do a miter join. Those are irregulars. Let me change that actually to something else. Let's make that a round join, and then let's change the line to a double. Okay, and then let's change the inside. We'll give it gradients. Make it nice and green. Okay, so those are some cool things that you can do with lines that you now know by going to the Format menu and using the Borders and Lines tool. Okay, so thought that would be kind of cool. See if you can do this stuff. Bye.